In this video, I'm going to share 4 secret ways that women use to test a man's confidence. You've probably heard of the tests that women do, and often these tests are mistaken for games. So, you might be thinking, she's interested in me, but she keeps playing games, and I don't like that. Often, these tests are indeed mistaken for games, so I'll explain in a better way so you can distinguish between a possible test and a game. Additionally, it's important to understand that often these behaviors of women are not conscious. They act this way automatically, from the beginning of their relationships, and often don't even realize it. But here I am talking to the men I teach about the tests that women do. Now that you'll understand why they do this and what response they expect from you. The first test often has characteristics of games because often the woman is doing this intentionally. But sometimes she's not doing it on purpose, she really oscillates between these moments that I'll explain. Basically, she shows interest and disinterest, alternating between demonstrating interest and acting with some coldness at specific times. So, you might be confused about what's going on. This is the woman you can invite on a date, and she might say she's not very interested, but the next day, she'll start a conversation with you. So, she showed some disinterest, but then started a conversation with you the next day. Why does the woman do this conscious test? She doesn't play this game most of the time for 2 reasons. Men also have their own way of testing women, and the first reason is a fear that she tends to internalize. She hears from a very young age that a woman shouldn't be too easy to conquer. This is a social norm that was created in many places around the world. Our society has built this idea in the minds of many women. So, because she believes in this, when she really becomes interested in you, she'll end up seeing a way for you to have to make more effort for her to really feel valued. Now, it's also common for her to show interest with disinterest. She may be interested one moment and cold the next. This also happens when a woman wants to see if the guy is strong enough for her. Now, let's analyze this as a sign of a self-assured man, confident enough to be with her, as this characteristic is very attractive to a woman, self-confidence. So, her attitude, when she acts with interest but then becomes cold in her responses, has this motive behind it. She actually wants to verify that the guy is not clingy, not needy, that he will maintain a certain posture in that sense. Most of the time, the woman does this unconsciously. She can be very warm in conversations one moment and less so in the next, just to really assess if this guy is self-confident and independent, or if he's too needy and emotional. What she expects by doing this is to find a man who will go after her without fear of rejection, who won't pressure her, who won't get desperate, but who still feels good enough for her. Here I am talking to a woman who kept running away for a while and then opened up a conversation. So, she has these alternations. You're going to act, showing your interest as if you hadn't noticed. Now, if she starts to pull away, even to the point of not responding, leaving you hanging, that's a big sign of lack of reciprocity. If she does that, what you need to do is distance yourself from this woman, to value your self-respect. And if you distance yourself, she'll distance herself too, because she was already distant, she didn't start a conversation or anything. So, understand that there was no real interest on her part. She could have been involved with another guy and you were just a distraction, she could have just been seeking a way to boost her ego, various reasons, but don't continue with this. The second type of test that women do, and I know this one, if you've been through it, left you pulling your hair out, is the disqualification test. So, in this type of test, the woman really mocks you or insults you sometimes. It's the woman who does this, she's usually used to doing this, she has a more acidic, more sarcastic humor, she's very confident. So, here you'll understand how this works. Often, she'll give you some kind of negative feedback, as if she doesn't approve of something about you. So, she might say something like, "Wow, but you seem kinda old," or, "You seem so old, you look like my dad," or, "Wow, but you're too young, too short," or anything in a teasing sense. And this type of test can happen many times when you're already getting involved with that woman. So, you're already more advanced there, and she says, for example, something like, "Look, I'm not going to bed with you, you can lose hope." And the objective here, obviously, is to see how you deal with this type of situation, if you handle it well or not. And the best way to respond to this type of test is for you to literally act as if what she said had no effect on you. So, let's say she says something like, "Look, I'm not going to bed with you, okay? You can lose hope." And then you laugh, you can just laugh, or you laugh and reply something like, "Wow, but you're in a hurry. Have you thought about this kind of thing? I'm not that easy." And you've already thrown this woman off balance. Now, if this woman literally insults you, if she says something disrespectful, what you need to do is not ignore it and respond sarcastically. In this case, you need to take a stand and show that the behavior she had is not acceptable. How do you do that? You say something to her in response, and then you leave her presence. And you're going to do this with a calm and firm voice. You can say, "Look, you shouldn't talk like that to anyone. How rude." Or just, "Wow, how rude." And leave her presence. And if she really was a woman who was minimally interested in you, she'll start to see you at that moment as someone who takes a stand and not as a banana man, the man who accepts anything and rushes to reverse that situation or apologize. Or even if she doesn't apologize, she'll try to get closer to you, say it was a joke, try to downplay it somehow. If she doesn't do any of that, if she really listened and doesn't come after you to apologize or just to say it's a joke after you've taken a stand, then I'm sure that's not the type of woman you want to get involved with. A rude woman, a woman who won't respect you. And the third secret way that women test a man is by testing his leadership potential, and this is a little difficult for you to perceive. This happens when you try to kiss her, for example, and she backs off. She's interested, but she backs off. And a woman evaluates a man's leadership potential not only by actually testing it, but she varies from the beginning, from when you meet. This is biological, it's within her, in this evaluation. So, the simple fact that you invite her out and you conduct that invitation well, that outing, already shows the potential for leadership. Or, for example, if she dodges the kiss, playing coy, you keep talking to her, you understand? Once again, as if that hadn't caused anything, getting closer and then giving her a kiss too. If you invite her out and she says she'll think about it, you can change the next day, "Where's my answer, man, on my table now? My answer about the invitation." And always seeing this with a sarcastic tone, this tone as if it didn't affect you at all, as if you also didn't see a possibility of her refusing. And the fourth thing that women test in men, and I know this one provokes a lot of anger, is intentionally provoking jealousy. I'm totally against this, but it's important for you to know that there are women who do this. So, basically, your woman that you're dating, getting to know, she'll talk about other men to you, in a way to let you know that other men are interested in her. She might make a point of talking to other men or even worse, flirting with other men in front of you. And whenever a woman does this to you, remember this lesson that I'm going to give you now. Don't try to attack the other man. Many men, at that moment, get desperate with that situation and try to attack the other guy, criticizing him or trying to elevate their status in the woman's head by diminishing the other guy, saying they're better at this and that. And all of this, in front of a woman, shows insecurity. A secure and confident man doesn't falter in a situation like this. He'll be calm. Or she'll be saying, "Oh, you know the guy who invited me here." She'll be talking, and he'll show that he couldn't care less, or he'll even interrupt her while she's talking, and he'll interrupt her to talk about something else. Always, or when she mentions the drink that so-and-so ordered, he'll interrupt to talk about another subject, as if that subject were extremely insignificant to him. If she really does this frequently or just once, in a disrespectful way, this man will take a stand, saying, "Look, I don't like that kind of behavior in a woman, and I don't want that kind of thing anymore when I'm with you," speaking firmly and fearlessly. That's how you take a stand and earn a woman's respect. After that, if she doesn't start to respect you, then I would reconsider continuing to invest in a relationship with a woman like that. Now tell me, if you already knew these 4 secret ways that women test a man's confidence. Have you been through any of these tests? What do you think of each of them? If you liked this video, then leave your like. Strong hug and goodbye.